Welcome to the capital city of Finland, Helsinki. Directly behind me is Oscar Hotel Lima Charlie Delta, a Douglas DC-3, one of the most important aircraft of all time. Unfortunately, I won't be flying on a DC-3 today. Instead, I'll be flying with Finnair on one of their A350s, bound for London Heathrow in premium economy. During the planning phase of my trip to Europe, I initially booked an early morning flight out of Copenhagen to Helsinki, as I wanted to maximize the amount of time I would get here. But due to some unknown reason, the first flight was cancelled and I was placed on a flight that would only give me 4 hours total in Helsinki, meaning my original plan on visiting the Sibelius Park had to be scrapped. Instead, I opted to visit the Finnish Aviation Museum, which is host to a wide variety of different aircraft, and not only Finnish aircraft, but as well as World War II Nazi aircraft, which was quite fascinating. Located on the shore of the Gulf of Finland, Helsinki is not only the capital city of Finland, but also the largest Finnish city, hosting well over 680,000 people as of 2021. Like most major cities around the world, Helsinki has an extensive metro system serving the greater Helsinki region, which includes the airport and the Aviopolis. I was blissfully unaware when walking to the museum that there was not only a train underneath my feet, but there was also a train station near the museum. But hey, at least I got my steps in. The metro system consists of 2 lines, which serve a total of 30 stations, and has a total length of 43 kilometers, or 27 miles. Helsinki-Vantaa International Airport is the primary international airport serving not only the city and suburb it's named after, but also serves as the major international airport for the entirety of Finland. From here you can fly up to 124 destinations across Finland, the rest of Europe, North America, Asia and North Africa, operated by 50 airlines. As expected, the airport is also a primary hub for Finnair, the national carrier of Finland, as well as Norra and Norwegian airlines. Helsinki Airport is one giant terminal building. However, much like most European airports, the building is split into 2 different sections, with Finnair using both depending on the destination of the flight. Upon arriving back at the terminal, I quickly made my way upstairs towards the check-in area and the security checkpoint. Check-in for Finnair is located on the right-hand side of the building from the entrance. Much like Qantas, Finnair's check-in is mostly autonomous, by use of self-service kiosks. However, there are dedicated priority lanes and service desks available. As I checked my bag in back at Copenhagen, and I already had my onward boarding pass in hand, there was no real need for me to visit Finnair's check-in today. Once the check-in process was completed, on the left, or rather in the center of the building for me, is the security checkpoint, which a boarding pass is required to enter, as you have to scan it. Security today was very easy, but honestly a little bit on the slow side, as it took me nearly 10 minutes to pass through. Post-security is the usual duty-free shopping area, which fortunately you are not forced into. However, there is an extensive shopping presence here, with stores being spread across the entirety of the terminal. As I will be flying to the United Kingdom today and not another European nation, I was required to exit the Schengen zone of the terminal and enter the Non-Schengen zone, which involves passport control. After clearing immigration, which was really easy, was yet another round of duty-free, and in this instance you were directly forced into it, which was an interesting design. The design of the non-Schengen zone was nearly completely different to the Schengen zone, with this area being much more industrial. At booking, Finnair provides economy passengers the opportunity to buy a lounge pass for only €48. Finnair has two lounges here at Helsinki. This particular lounge is located adjacent to Gate 52 on the non-Schengen side. Excluding paid entry, access to this lounge is offered only to the following passengers: Finnair Gold or higher tier members, Finnair Silver members with a discounted rate, One World Sapphire or higher members, and of course business class customers. The lounge itself is one fairly large room taking up approximately 900 meters squared. However, it's split into two sections, the business class section and the platinum wing, which I did not have access to. In the business class section, there are seats for up to 450 people at any one time, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. However, there are no proper window views, rather views out to more glass. There is quite an assortment of different foods and beverages to indulge in. As I entered at roughly 2 p.m, the lunch service was in full swing, so hearty and filling items were being served, including a vegetarian curry, a chicken tomato dish, and some soups. There are also snacks, fruits, and light bites on offer too. I started with Finnair's signature drink, the blueberry juice, which was really delicious, though it definitely needed some alcohol, to which I added some vodka and lemon later. I then had the spicy curry, which was a lentil curry with what I believe were capsicum, as well as some white rice and some buttered bread. I also opted for a cup of Sprite, which cooled down the spiciness of the curry. Showers and bathrooms are also present throughout the lounge. However, I found that they were always busy or booked, so I never really got a chance to view them. Unfortunately, my time in the lounge had come to its end, as boarding for this afternoon's flight was just displayed on the departures board. One final note I must make about this lounge is that announcements are not made in the lounge, so make sure you keep your eye on the clock. Upon arriving at the gate and waiting on stand was the aircraft about to take me to Heathrow, which today is an Airbus A350-900, registered as Oscar Hotel Lima Whiskey Golf. Construction of this airframe was completed at Airbus's final assembly line in Toulouse, France, in September of 2016. She was then shortly delivered to Finnair later that same month, making this aircraft 8.5 years old. Boarding commenced shortly after I had arrived at Gate 54, but it was rather strange. As our boarding passes were scanned, we were shuffled into a waiting area, similar to Singapore Changi. Finnair's A350s have two different configurations depending on the routes being served. This particular aircraft has 321 seats in a 3-class configuration. There are 30 Air Lounge business class seats in a 1-2-1 layout, 26 premium economy seats in a 2-4-2 layout, and 265 standard economy class seats in a 3-3-3 layout. This afternoon I shall be seated in 21 Lima on the starboard side or right hand side of the aircraft. Finnair has opted for the Heathrow Vector Premium seat for their Premium Economy Class cabin, which features 38 inches or 97 centimeters of pitch and 18.7 inches or 47 centimeters of width. In the seat back pocket you'll find a safety card and 2 air sickness bags. Folding out from the center console is a large wooden tray table which folds 90 degrees and extends. There are also 2 buttons next to the tray table that control the recline and footrest. There is also a remote control for the entertainment screen in the center console too, and 2 sets of USB-A ports, universal power outlets, and 2 headphone jacks. Above are individual reading lights only. The The seat features a 6-way adjustable headrest made with soft leather and a reading light next to each. And finally, just prior to pushback, the cabin crew handed out reusable earbuds to all passengers. With a spider crawling across my window, we commenced our pushback from Gate 54, 19 minutes behind our scheduled departure time.
Thank you. And cabin crew, ready for safety demonstration.
Hello, and welcome on board Finnair. Before departure, we require your full attention for a moment. Our safety depends on both our crew and on you.
We taxied to runway 04 right via Sierra, Victor Mike, Zulu and Zulu Romeo. Now please enjoy this unedited takeoff. Once in the air, we spun around to the left over Helsinki, through the thick grey clouds, to set up a southwesterly course for London. Flight time today is 2 hours and 30 minutes, covering a distance of 1,231 miles or 1,981 kilometers, cruising at 43,000 feet. Once in the air, we flew directly over Helsinki, but due to my seat's position on the aircraft and the weather outside, I was unable to see anything. On the back of every premium economy class seat is a 13-inch HD touch entertainment screen system, or in my case on the bulkhead is a 16-inch screen, which is powered by Panasonic EX3. The system, which is in the Finnair Nordic Sky style, features a huge selection of different movies, TV shows, games and music. There is also a fantastic moving map feature, which I think is the best out there. Finnair also offers complimentary Wi-Fi on all of its flights to all passengers on board, regardless of class, which I found to be not super slow but not really fast either. To connect, all you have to do is scan the QR code on the entertainment screen. Shortly thereafter, the crew began the in-flight service. Finnair offers a vast selection of different foods and drinks to purchase on board their flights. I bought a combo deal which came with a strawberry, banana and guava smoothie, a small bar of chocolate, and a cold smoked salmon sandwich on rye bread, and not to mention some more of the amazing blueberry juice. As the clouds finally parted, down below was the eastern coast of England, with the closest town that I could identify being Lowestoft. On board the aircraft are 9 bathrooms, 2 for business, 1 for premium economy, and 6 for economy. The premium economy class bathroom has everything you would typically come to expect for this aircraft type, including Finnair's scented hand soap, but surprisingly there was no baby changing station. Just prior to descent, the last piece of England visible, that isn't London, was the eastern seaside resort town of Clacton-on-Sea. Soon we commenced our descent into Heathrow. As the aircraft slowly fell back to Earth, I started to get really excited, as I hadn't stepped foot in not only London, but the UK in over 10 years. The last time I flew into London was on board a Swiss Airbus A350 from Zurich on Christmas Day of 2014, which, from memory, was a cold, gloomy, and distinctively blue day, which is very British if you ask me. But today was quite the opposite, being sunny, warmish and clear, and near perfect flying conditions. That day, I sat on the right-hand side, and I was fortunate enough to be able to see all of London and the Concorde on touchdown. Unfortunately today, I didn't get to see the BA Concorde, rather instead the northern suburbs of London and the many reservoirs west of the airfield. Now please enjoy this unedited landing. After landing, we taxied to Terminal 3 via Alpha 8, Link 12, Bravo and Hotel. We pulled into gate 32, 7 minutes behind our scheduled arrival time. Stepping off the aircraft, I thanked the absolutely fantastic crew for the flight, and I turned my attention away from Finnair and towards the airfield that I was currently standing on. I spent a couple of minutes marveling at the airport, aircraft and airlines around me that I hadn't seen in 10 years, such as Virgin Atlantic, but then I had to turn my attention away from flying and focus on getting to London. So, I just flew with Finnair in their premium economy class between Helsinki and London. What are my thoughts? Well, as always, let's start from the beginning. Check-in at Copenhagen was very easy and quick, taking only a matter of minutes to complete. I generally have no complaints about it. Security today, as expected, was very simple, but honestly, a little bit on the slow side, as it took nearly 10 minutes to pass through. Immigration, however, was the complete opposite. I basically walked through the whole process in less than 90 seconds. The new Finnair Lounge was also an absolute stunner. It's very well appointed, with such a wide variety of seating, and the entire setup feels really comfortable. It's definitely a nice place to spend a couple of hours, especially during a transit. On board, the seat is definitely more of an economy plus product rather than a business light. There are no real priority benefits, not even priority boarding, which was a bit of a shame. Honestly, I don't think there's much difference between this and an economy class seat with extra legroom. The food was also really good. As expected, my favourite was definitely the blueberry juice, and I really wish I had some more of it back home, but then again, I did have to pay for it. And lastly, the crew on board. The level of service during the in-flight service and the helpfulness, especially at the airport, was outstanding. up there with the likes of Qantas and Iceland Air. So, would I recommend you to choose this product? Well, Finnair definitely has its pros, but it also has its cons. The pros are definitely the seat, but that's about it. The product, at least on this flight, was no better than that of economy. Now granted, this wasn't a true premium economy service, but I find it a bit misleading that it was labelled as premium, when it was no better than a standard extra legroom economy class seat. Nothing really premium about it. So, I would say no, I wouldn't recommend this product, but what I would recommend is just to fly in their business class, which I now highly regret not doing. Maybe one day I'll get to, who knows as to when, maybe between Sydney and Bangkok. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you check out my other videos if you want to see more. And I have said this in the past, but I now have a Discord server. Feel free to join, the link can be found at the top of the description. And as always, feel free to press the notification button too, as it will let you know whenever I upload, which happens every Friday at 8 PM Sydney time. And I hope to see you all again in the next one. Nakemin!